how emotions, they are not problems to fix, but they're energy to really listen to deeply and to move with. And we will explore how truth, love, and wisdom can guide us into inspired action.
We are often taught to suppress or distract from pain. I mean, we live in a suppression culture related to this. For me, when I sit in the energy of fear or sadness, if I stay with it, I often find layers beneath it.
So really, how does presence become the catalyst for change? When we bring that gentle awareness to our emotions, something does shift. The very act of noticing creates a space. Welcome back to the Healing You Method podcast. I'm Gloria Lybecker, and I'm here with my dear friend and co-host, Gail Donahue.
Hi, everyone. It's such a joy to be here with you. And today we're exploring one of our favorite topics, the power of emotional alchemy, transforming energy into action.
Yes, we're going to talk about how emotions, they are not problems to fix, but they're energy to really listen to deeply and to move with. And we will explore how truth, love, and wisdom can guide us into inspired action. And we'll look at what it means to actually transmute old wounds, turning that pain into empowerment.
Start with this. We are often taught to suppress or distract from pain. I mean, we live in a suppression culture related to this. But alchemy begins when we're willing to actually sit with it
Mhm.
rather than push it away.
Yeah, and sitting with pain doesn't mean that we're wallowing in it, though I have done that too. It actually means allowing the energy of that emotion to be acknowledged and felt instead of exiled or suppressed.
Mm. And for me, when I sit in the energy of fear or sadness, if I stay with it, I often find layers beneath it that what comes forward are truths about what matters to me or longings that I didn't realize I had. Like for an example, I was realizing how much was taught and learned in my family of origin that expressing your truth and your emotions wasn't allowed. I had a very painful experience of being sexually molested, and I knew that I could not speak about it. I had to be quiet and silent about it because what I had a sense of was that it would blow everything apart. So I took care of everyone else and didn't ever speak about it. But that costs me. It costs me years of just transferring that into other things, of always covering up any emotions of grief or shame or pain. And it wasn't until I was able to sit with it and sit with it with accompaniment that it could be brought forward and looked at and stayed with to really acknowledge the pain that was there. So I just wonder in this moment for our listeners, is there any emotion you've been pushing away? What what would it be like for you to just like give it a chair beside you and simply listen?
Yeah, just want to call a little pause right there just to honor your journey, honor the depth of the question. Mm,
Yeah, thank you, Gloria.
yeah. So really, how does presence become the catalyst for change? When we bring that gentle awareness to our emotions, something does shift. The very act of noticing creates a space.
Mm, yeah, exactly. It's like having a light, a flashlight, a torch, and
Mhm.
shining it into a dark room. The energy reorganizes itself. And that's the beginning of alchemy, being with what is and not trying to control it or change it.
Yeah, I got to have a experience with this just the other day. When I woke, I could feel that something just felt off inside. I had a bit of a flat affect as my husband was going to work. He said, "Are you okay?"
Mm,
And I remember saying, I just feel off. And he goes, "I can see that." I'm like, so something was really stirring deeply, and it felt rather like a depression. And so what I did choose to do was to go outside. I went out and I walked my labyrinth. I went out into my little timber frame, and I went out and I spent some time with Finn. And as I allowed myself just to be accompanied by my horse, I could feel the depth of the sadness. And it was the felt sense of just not mattering enough or being of value. And this is a very old pattern of mine to have this belief system that I have absolutely no value to give anyone. And as I sat with that and I allowed myself to really feel it, it was really in my gut and also in my face. And so by allowing myself to be accompanied by Finn and nature, I could begin to come back home to my own heart. And so that's really using the practice of the circles and stepping in and acknowledging what is in the moment without trying to cover it up or fix it or do anything to it, but just being with it honestly. And
mhm,
then being able to turn to Finn and just recognize what I love and allowing myself to really step in fully there and really focus on that. It brings them both together into that space of wholeness where then I'm empowered to take my power back and take the next action step towards what I love. And so when I completed that, I came in and I started just creating new class materials with rich processes to step into with and it just I could feel the life energy just coming up inside of me and really allows that pattern to soften and to transmute.
mhm. Yeah, it's doing that. The process of the circles is such a powerful process to be with what is and then be able to feel into choices of what you really want for yourself and for the future. It's so powerful.
Yeah, well, that brings us into that presence with spirit. And that's not about fixing emotions. It truly is the transformation of them, the higher over the lower. That's the alchemy. It turns the pain into information and that information into the empowerment. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And one of the heaviest emotions most of us carry is shame.
Mm,
And shame just grows and grows and thrives in being in isolation.
mhm.
And it tells us that we're unworthy, that we don't matter, that we're broken, it's our fault.
Yeah.
And being so alone with it, it just continues to get stronger.
Yeah. And in my experience, when it is being met, when we're met by a safe mirror, whether that's another person or a horse, the shame begins to dissolve. You know, horses in particular, in my experience, they reflect our nervous system so honestly, without any judgment. And again, getting to meet with you, Gail, there's been so many times when I've been able to turn to you and be met right where I was in the moment, that neuroception of safety just allows me to feel felt in a place where I didn't dare allow myself to feel felt. Very much like what you were sharing earlier. How about you?
Oh, yes, absolutely that being accompanied, like not being alone,
Mm.
It is like so life-changing, and I would agree with you, Gloria. Our times that we're together and you have met me and you have held me and been present with me without any judgment or without any fixing, but just being tenderly warm and beside me, that's when the ahas start to come in and the linkages start to see the pattern. And when we can see those patterns without that judgment or without us going into shame again, because we're sharing it with someone else and we're not alone, it makes such a difference for having that transformation happen. And safe others. I mean, I'm so grateful to have you.
Mm.
And hopefully others have people that they can turn to, therapists or coaches, and animals, as you have your horses, can
Yeah.
can do the same. Their
Yeah.
presence says you're not alone in this.
Hmm.
And having that resonance and that accompaniment rewires the inner stories that we have of shame and that we don't belong. And it changes the story, changes the narrative so that we can see that we do belong and we are worthy.
Well, yeah, I'm just resonating with that so strongly. It reveals the truth,
Mm,
and it's the truth that sets us free. Is
mm,
when we have our identity as kind of bought into that storyline that's a lie. That's where the stuckness, the stickiness is. And when we are accompanied and seen in our truth, that's when the love does its alchemy with us.
right.
I want to
Yeah.
invite our listeners to just take a moment and bring to mind a safe mirror in your life. It could be a human, it could be an animal. And then just notice as you take a moment how to notice how you feel in your body when you imagine being accompanied by them.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So makes such a difference when I can imagine, even if we're not together or, on Zoom or on a phone call, but just imagining you there beside me, that now is a presence in my imagination that helps to feel
Yeah, we can
safer.
do those little time travels anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today we really explored that emotional alchemy and how sitting with our pain rather than suppressing it or pushing it away truly is a catalyst for change. And also the role of the mirrors in transforming shame, having that accompaniment, how powerful and important that is.
Yeah. Our invitation is for you to begin noticing your emotions, not as problems or something to push away or fix, but just as, oh, energy here that's here in our bodies. And ask, what truth is this emotion pointing me towards? What is the wisdom here? We want to cultivate our inner wisdom that we already innately have, but it's been suppressed. And we can ask ourselves, what action that's rooted in love wants to emerge? It's so valuable to honor our emotions. And that's where that transformation happens to see what is in our birthright of to have these emotions and not make them wrong or dismiss them or suppress them, but see them as
Yeah.
messages of us tapping into our wisdom, our inner wisdom. And
Yeah.
they're not obstacles, they're allies.
Truth. That's truth right there. At the beginning, we talked about truth, love, and wisdom. And for me, those are the circles. The first circle is stepping into our truth, into the right now, and acknowledging the sensations, the emotions, the thought clouds, the experience, and allowing that to be accompanied. And then the second circle is the love, stepping into what you truly love and fully embodying that. Because for most of us, that first circle is going to be lower frequencies. But our love and above frequencies, that's a higher frequency. And when you bring the two together, there's the transmutation, and the wisdom arises from that. And that the emotion then that you step into that you love, it's more powerful. It starts to actually ignite this resonance. And it's then, what is the word I want? It's there's an affect contagion. It will then ripple out to those around you as well.
Mm, yeah,
Mm.
which how powerful when it starts to um, help to transform others within your life as well. Yeah. And your example and you talking about the circles is just leading beautifully into our next episode, which is called The Energy of Choice, sourcing decisions from alignment, not fear.
Yes, we're going to explore how to tell if you're acting from your essence or from your wounds, and what intuitive yes and no feel like somatically. So until next time, may you welcome your emotions as sacred messengers.
And may their energy guide you into your aligned action with love.